If you've ever needed to merge or edit a PDF file, you've probably uploaded it to some random website and just hoped your personal files weren't being stored somewhere. With Stirling PDF, you don't have to do that anymore. You can do everything right here on your own self-hosted server. And the best part, it replaces a bunch of those online tools with one clean interface. So let's get this installed on Unraid and take a look at what it can do. All right, jump over to your Unraid box. We're gonna head over to the Apps tab. In there, we'll search for Stirling PDF. It's already on the page here, but if it's not, just search for it. It shows right up. Go ahead and click install. If you get this attention window saying that you've already got a port in use, sit back, we'll check that in a moment, and we'll take care of that. In the meantime, just hit OK. For most of these settings, you can leave them at the defaults, but let's walk through the important ones. The name's good, repository, network type's good. For port, I had a message saying that it was in use, so I'm gonna go check that. Scroll down to the bottom. I'm gonna expand Show Docker Allocations. We'll go back up to the port, double click on the port number, 8080. I'm gonna hit Control from the keyboard, which is the find feature within the browser. Shows me 4 results, 1, 2, and it's being used by binhex qubit torrent for number 3. And number 4, that's 18,080, so that's not the same. So it is being used by another container, so this port I cannot use. Let's increment by 1 and see what happens. So I'll change this to 8081, search for that one, and that's in use as well. And I believe I've got several that are in use, so I'm gonna go backwards this time. I believe I've already done that once, so I'm gonna go back to 8078, see if that's available. After several attempts, I found one that was free, so I'm gonna go with 8075 on my system. The important thing here is just to make sure that whatever port you're using, it's not being used by something else already. All right, next down we've got System Google Visibility. I'm gonna set this to false because True allows Google Visibility, basically the robots, to scrape your stuff. I don't need any of that, hence why I'm setting it to false. Next down, System Default Locale. Right now it is English Great Britain, so I am in the US, so I will change that to EN-US. And what that's doing, this just makes sure that your dates in your formatting is what you'd expect in the US. All right, next down we've got configs. This is the app data location. We'll leave that there. That's fine where it's at. Next one down, we've got custom files. The default location there is good too, so I'll leave that alone. The config folder is where your settings live, and the custom files folder is where you drop things like logos, watermarks, or signature files, if you want to use them inside of Stirling PDF. So for an example, if you got a logo and you want to reuse a watermark, you can just drop it in that folder, and then you can just use it across your PDFs whenever you need. And then down one more, we've got metrics enabled. That's set to true. That's the default. You can leave this on unless you have a reason to disable it. Once everything looks good, go to the bottom and click apply and let the container start up. All right, now that it's done, go ahead and click done. Now once it's running, we can go over to the Docker tab, go to Stirling PDF, find the web UI, and we'll open it up. And here you're prompted with a user ID and a password. In this blue box down here, it's got the defaults listed, which the username is admin and the password is Stirling. Let's go ahead and enter those, then hit login. Right off the bat, we're prompted with this analytics screen. If you want to share your analytics, go ahead and hit yes. If not, hit no. Next, it's forcing us to change the password, which is a fantastic idea. Definitely do this. Enter your new password, confirm it down below, and then hit change password. Now we need to log back in with the new password. Some tooltips, I'm just going to close out of that. Once you're in, this is where things really get powerful. Instead of jumping between a bunch of different websites, everything is right here. You can edit PDFs, merge and split files, compress and convert documents. You can extract pages or images. It also has some more advanced tools like OCR to make scanned PDFs searchable. You can clean up scans, compare documents, redact sensitive information, and on the security side, you can add or remove passwords, change permissions, flatten forms, sanitize files, and even more professional features like add watermarks or stamps, digitally signed PDFs, use certificates and timestamps. It's basically everything you'd normally bounce between multiple sites to do, all in one place. Let me show you a quick example. I'm going to upload a couple PDFs, merge them together, and then compress the final file. Let's do that real quick. Click Upload from Computer. I have a couple test ones here. We'll go with PDF 1, open that. We'll go to Merge. We've got number 1. I'm going to add another file. Let's do number 2. Got our 2 PDF files here. We'll click Merge 2 files. And there, now we've got both PDF 1 and PDF 2 merged into one. To get the file out, just click Download. But let's go ahead and compress it first. We'll find the compress option, use that, and there we go. It's shrunk it down a bit, saving us space on our server. No uploads to external services, no waiting on some random site. Everything stays local. And if privacy is something you care about, and if you're watching this, it probably is, using a VPN is another solid layer. I personally use private internet access, especially when I'm on public Wi-Fi or just to want to keep my traffic a bit more private. If you want to check it out, I've got a link down in the description. Another quick note, you can also create multiple users in here. You can get up to 5 on the free version, which is probably more than enough for most home setups. Now, I personally wouldn't expose this directly to the internet. If you want remote access, I'd recommend putting behind something like Athelia or your Cloudflare tunnel and Nginx setup. That way you've got proper authentication in front of it. And if you're just getting started with Unraid, I do have a free Unraid starter pack that walks you through setting up things the right way from the beginning. That'll be linked down in the description. Also, if you run into any issues or just want to share your setup, feel free to join our Discord. There's a ton of people in there building out their own home labs. But that's going to do it for this one. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you want early access to videos like this, and sometimes days or even weeks early, you can check out my Patreon link below.